evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan, North Motor City Mad Mouth. Got five of us here today. George Eichhorn, and I started this thing way back in the day, back in the 80s.
Yep, good to be here.
Tonight. Eichhorn's going to be dispatched everywhere in the next few weeks. Here we got some kids we're working with. We had Candy Ebling. Glad to have her back again.
Glad to be back, Scott.
And we have our superstar of the show here. We got Marvin Powell, the third.
Fight on.
And the other superstar is Jacob Christner.
War Eagle or something.
There you go. All right. 6'2", they're just sitting back, relax to see what I'm going to throw at you. Great stuff. All right, well, let's talk about some greatness here. Talk about some broadcast before we get to our featured topic of the night. There's some great announcers that are going to be retiring this year. Lee Corso, as we've talked about on other shows, is retiring from ESPN. He went from 87 to 2025. Hubie Brown, obviously, is retired. Worked with USA, CBS, ABC, and ESPN. I'll tell you one thing, he worked for everywhere. You talk about what he did with USA from 81 to 82, and CBS 88 to 2002, ABC, ESPN 2005 to 25. And yes, let's not forget Jimmy Johnson of Fox, who I caught up with at the Super Bowl. Was there from 94 to 96, then went back there from 2025, had a little in-betweener with the Miami Dolphins. And yes, Gary Danielson, people of the formerly of the Lions, had a great career at EBS, ESPN, ABC, CBS, and 2025 will be his last season. John Sterling of the New York Yankees from 89 to 2024, and Joe Castiglione with the Boston Red Sox 1983 to 2024. George, obviously, you know the broadcaster well. What do you think about all of these ones, and which one stands out?
Well, that's quite a list, Scott. Obviously, there's a lot of great historic broadcasts that all those guys worked on. The ones that stand out to me, of course, Hubie Brown is one of them. He had has had a great career. He's worked so smoothly with so many different sidekicks and on play-by-play. He's been very knowledgeable always on the NBA front. We know that. He has his stuff together. And I really, really enjoy listening to him. The other one, of course, would be, for me, would be Gary Danielson, because as you mentioned, he was a former NFL player with the Lions and played college ball. And, he really was a great guy, a student of the game, I call him. He never made it into the big. There's only one or two John Maddens out there. There's only one, really. But, I mean, Gary knows that he was never going to turn into that kind of icon. But he has done very, very well in college football. Vern Lundquist, and then with Brad Nessler. So I'm going to miss those.
Just keep adding names. They're not. Some of them have retired. Why don't you just go ahead names? All right, I'll let you up here, but we'll put Vern Lundquist, and who was the other one you mentioned?
No, well, he's not retiring. Brad Nessler. I was just going to say that Gary worked with those two guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I know who he worked with. Yeah. Okay. There's a commandment out there that says, "Thou shalt put thy foot on the ground, not thy mouth," and you generally get the mouth one all the time when it comes to some of these topics. Really? Seriously? Really? Well, seriously? Really?
You're hitting my sweet spot, announcing broadcasters.
Yeah, I know. That's why you're on this show, because I had
and Detroit. Lots of Detroit.
Yeah. Don't worry. He'll make sure he gets those Detroit mentions. Go ahead, Candy.
Well, now you kind of stole my thunder, because I was going to mention two more, but longevity in the field has been almost the norm. Some of the, like Lee Corso, how long has he done it? And but I don't know that. No, I'm going to say that I do know that we will not see that longevity going forward, because with all the different mediums that they have, we're not going to have the same longevity on like Corso on ESPN, because I don't know that ESPN will be the same come how many years from now. But I know you're going to go off on me. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to let George be the only person. This was the first baseball season, and I don't know how many years Vin Scully and Bob Uecker, one of the two, didn't announce for. So, longevity.
I won't go off on you. I mean, they certainly are recognizable names, and obviously they're retired because I'm like that. So God retired him, and I'm not trying to be facetious at all. It's just the reality as they passed away. Rest in peace, Vince Scully, and as well. So,
Euchre, yeah. Mm-hmm.
and Bob Euchre. Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah, great names. Gary Danielson. I've always liked him. I really have, but he got on my nerves this year. Purdue guy, and he did the USC Purdue game. They actually inducted him into the Hall of Fame at halftime of that game. But he was such a homer for Purdue in that game. It's just he lost me a little bit, but he's really but he is outstanding. Jimmy Johnson, a guy who I'm a football nerd. Grew up watching the Cowboys and watching him as the head coach. And then for me, in my first pro game ever was against the Dolphins and a Jamie Johnson led team in a preseason game. So that was pretty cool looking at that guy across the field. And I've always loved him on the mic. But of all of them, I got to go with my man, Lee Corso. I got to go with Lee Corso. Lee Corso accurately predicted USC home wins 16 times. 16 times he put the Trojan helmet on game day and picked USC to win, and they did. He has to be the best of all time.
Yeah, you know what? I got to ride the Corso train too. I mean, he did something that was completely original with that headgear stuff. And Hubie Brown, though, I've met him a few times. There's no person that knows basketball even better than this guy. That's for sure. All right. Well, you know what? We're going to stay with the announcing theme, though. Things like this is happening. Well, I won't have to. Go ahead, Jacob. Yeah. Then I'll.
The thing that worries me a little bit with it, I'm glad to see that they've got to be old age and they've been able to work in that. But it always worries me as I think of the Sister Jean situation, as when we talked about it, she passed, and it was like she said, "Well, I can't go back to work," and she was gone in about a week, maybe 10 days. And it's like, and it's one of those things where it's like it always worries me because I think of Bob Euchre. He worked all the way to the end,
right?
And he worked to the end, and Harry Carey worked to the end, and all those guys that we've known. And it's like Vince Scully lasted a couple of extra years, but it's like it always worries me when I hear these guys when they're older age going out, and they're retiring. It's like, unless you're really unhealthy, why would you do it? You got to keep yourself a routine. Mm-hmm. And it always does. Of course, so I get because he doesn't look healthy out there. Because something could be with him. But like Gary Danielson and all these other names that and all these here, it's like, why? Keep yourself a routine unless you're sick, and it just worries me. But you were right about this, Candace. We're not going to see this again because they are tremendous. These are tremendous. They did it for years. These tremendous talents, and a lot of people are making so much money for not being as talented, and they're going to retire earlier.
Okay, well, okay, we'll stay on the broadcasting theme. Unfortunately, there's a trend of this that seems to be happening all too often. But September, the California TV station shuttered its local news operation. I know we see that in a lot of places, George, but this is just a latest example that they're relying everywhere else. So what are your thoughts about this situation, George? I know we've been in it for a while.
I don't like it, Scott. I think it stinks. I mean, if we start eroding our local news coverage in our communities,
right,
different parts of whether it's California or anywhere else, but I don't like it. I mean, it's a cost-cutting move, obviously, by the station, and they're obviously cutting overhead or whatever they want to call it, people's salaries, their livelihoods. But more important than that is the fact that the local news brings things to you as a viewer, as a citizen of that community, let's say, and it's important, and it's very important because as part of that community, you got to have the news. You got to know what's going on. And if there's some, unfortunately, sad stories, I mean, we all know those, but just the fact that you're broadcasting and all you're going is with syndication or something like the news, I don't like it one bit. I don't. And I really think this should be stopped and done away with, but it still happens. I don't like it.
Candy?
Well, as we go away from mainstream media, as we go away from regular, local TVs, and we're going online and we're doing other things and we're streaming, it's an ever evolving, changing dynamic. And so we have to move with the ebb and flows of technology. And as much as we don't like it, if we don't embrace it, we're gonna fall behind. And I can tell from my industry that it has changed tremendously, and I would guess within the next 15 to 20 years my job will not be there either. Like, so we you just have to move on and re-educate yourself or change yourself to go with the times.
Well, 15 to 20 years, if your job ain't there, you and I will be on a cruise ship and I'll be doing videos with what voice I have. Go ahead, Marvin.
Scott, I missed the first part of the question. I didn't hear the first part of
Oh,
what
that's
you.
okay, Marvin. No problem. Yeah, what we have out in California is a situation where this station is shuttering the local news. It seems to be a pattern in this day and age, Marvin.
Right. Yeah, which is unfortunate, man, because we live in a day and age of just so much bad information and misinformation. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I feel like when I was a kid, if it was on the news, it was true. That's kind of how I felt, you know. But that's a different time, man. You know, no more Tom Brokaw's and Connie Chung's. And, you know, it's now it's us, you know, now we're the ones carrying the news and giving people the information. To Candy's point, you know, this industry is evolving. And just imagine what's going to happen, you know, as we get into AI. If you think jobs are unsafe now, you think the industry's changing now, you know, industries, you know, jobs being slashed, man, AI has something coming for everybody.
Jacob.
Well, you know, the thing is, I'm from Quincy, Illinois. Quincy has had they had WGEM and KHQA. WGEM got bought out. It was originally called the Oakleys, and stuff like that. They got bought out by Gray Media, who's now sold to somebody else. The Gray Media is in Atlanta, Georgia. KHQA's had four different buyers. It's going to be any time now before any of those go. WGEM probably stays. KHQA is probably going to go out. They just lost their sports guy, who went to the local a place called Muddy River News. He went to that just because he could see the writing on the wall at KHQA. And so this ain't just California. This is going to be happening everywhere. You know what I mean? And it is an unfortunate situation, but truthfully, like in these small towns, what do you have as far as real news? And plus, we're talking for ourselves, George, when we're talking about this thing. It's like all our ages, all everything like that. We grew up with all this.
Right.
It's like I have a 17-year-old nephew. The only time he watches TV is with us, with my brother and I. He's 18 now, excuse me, but he watches it with us, and that's it. I mean, he is on YouTube, he is on the TikTok, he's on clips. It is quick. He watches football with us, but otherwise it's highlights. That's the big thing. That's the way they have now. And this is where the world's gone.
See, I had a guy on here. I think George, you might have been on that show. Maybe you weren't. Named Ted Dawson. Remember him? And he was dealing with a lot of those problems as they were out in mountain country by Montana and Wyoming, and dealing with lack of local news. So this is something that's a disturbing trend for sure. All right, so let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes again. The university I cover a lot. We're going to talk about the fact that they had some new members inducted into their 2026 Sports Hall of Fame announced. Some of these you may be familiar with, some of them you won't. Duke Johnson played football there from 2012 to 2014. Ryan Garcia played baseball from 2014 to 2016. Fallon Tullis Joyce played soccer from 2015 to 2018. She ended up playing. Then you have Mike Rumpf played football from 1998 to 2001. Dwayne Starks played football from 96 to 97. Savannah Leaf played track and field from 2014 to 2017. Sam Dorman was a diver 2010 to 2015. And Wendy Foote played basketball 1974, 1990, 1970. What are your thoughts about this group, Marvin?
Listen, I recognize a couple of names. I've worked with Dwayne Starks in the NFLPA. He's one of the leaders and does a great job. I know he was a great player. Interception, touchdown in the Super Bowl. And then Duke Johnson, little guy, but really good back. Was in the NFL with the Browns and a couple of teams for a couple of years. A lot of notable names, and to be inducted into a Hall of Fame like University of Miami. You're talking about one of the, I can't say pillars of college sports, but just in the last 50 years, they've been extremely relevant. And it's a big deal.
Anybody else want to comment on this? I know you guys aren't familiar with the area. Candy, Mike, George. Jacob, you want to defer, or do you want to take a crack?
I'll
at it?
defer because I don't know. I only know the football team.
That's fine. That's why I asked. What about you, George? Okay,
Well,
if you don't-
just a general observation would be that, yeah, the University of Miami has got a great sports tradition, no question about it. So these kinds of names that are coming up for Hall of Fame induction, they may not mean a lot to some people, but they do mean a lot to that person and their family. And anytime you're enshrined in a Hall of Fame, whether it's national, whether it's your college, it's a great honor. And certainly the names you rattled off are some of the most deserving people. And it's not easy to get in there. But they've got a great tradition at University of Miami in athletics. And those are some great names. And I just wanted to say congratulations to all of them, too.
great stuff, George. Okay, what about you, Candace?
So I did a little research. So I'm going to just highlight a little bit on a couple of them. Wendy Foote, Miami's first 1,000 point scorer, averaged a school record of 25.2 points per game. Brian Garcia was Miami's all-time leader in saves with 43. Duke Johnson, all-time leading rusher with 3,519 yards in 526 carries, which is third all-time, and a 6.69 yards per carry out average. Savannah Leaf was the 2014 Volleyball Player of the Year award. Obviously, Mark Richt was instrumental in striving to change the culture of Miami football. Then we have, and then there was a couple others, but I'm just going to go over those couple because, just to give you a little bit more on some of why they are there. I mean, obviously, to be inducted into Miami's Hall of Fame is pretty special. There aren't a ton. It was the 56. They were inducted at the 56th Sports Hall of Fame and Museum induction banquet, which will actually be held next spring. But they introduced them at the football game on this past weekend. I believe I did take some pictures of it. I did not take a video of it. So I got pictures of a couple of them, and we'll be posting those up on the South Florida Tribune.
Well, keep in mind the one thing about Mark Richt is not only did he play there, but he donated a lot of his money. And the reason why they have an indoor practice facility is because of Mark Richt. So Mark Richt has done an awful lot for the program. Let's revisit a trade that occurred with the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. But this one, we're going to revisit it when it took place, when they sent Jimmy Butler out to Golden State in terms for Andrew Wiggins. At that time, Golden State was 24-8, Miami was 12-21. So, Marvin, how is this trade really looking now between these two teams with Butler out in Miami or out of Miami and, of course, Allen Wiggins? I mean, he couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Right. So, yeah, I'm still in football season. I haven't watched a ton of basketball, but I do know that Butler to the Warriors was a good move for them and a good move for Jimmy Butler. He wanted to get the heck out of Miami, having all kind of drama with Pat Riley. Unfortunately, listen, Jimmy's a great player, man. I think he's an all-time great player. I mean, he at the height of his career, and he's still playing hard. I mean, this guy put up numbers. I mean, he led the Heat, who didn't really have the bodies. He led the Heat to 2 NBA Finals. And I think he can only benefit the greatest shooter in the history of the game. So from the Jimmy Butler standpoint, I thought it went well. I can't speak too much on Wiggins.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob?
The thing about Jimmy Butler is the fact that I know you were bringing that up. He is a great player. He is a great player, Marvin. There's no question about that. But the issue that I have with him is he can have all the issues with Pat Riley all he wants to. He's an issue a minute guy. He is a loudmouth. He is ridiculous. He always wants out. It's like I'm waiting for him to want to get out of Golden State. I'm waiting for him to want to get. I'm waiting for him. Oh yeah.
I think he's not a free spirit, but I think Steve Kerr is good with those personalities, man. I do.
Yeah, but I mean, he was in Chicago. He was with all of these. It's like everything is a problem, and it's like everything's a problem, and it's like eventually you get to that point. You know what I mean? Eventually you get to that point where someone, they can't even, what's a good word to say this? It's like someone gets shut down. I mean, they even ignored Steve Kerr. It gets to that point, and it's like the guy's got an ego. And now, is he a great player? Yes, he is. Tremendous player. He is probably an all-time 25, all-time 30. You know what I mean? He is wonderful. But, he's one of those guys that should have been maybe on 2 teams. He's been, 5, 6. Yeah. And it's like, and at that point of time, it's not all the teams. You're a problem. You're a mouthpiece. You can't. It's like, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop in Golden State. That's just the truth.
It's all about a fit, man. A fit in setting and leadership.
How many fits?
Culture.
It's like how many fits?
But the Warriors are
trying
different.
on shoes?
I mean, they're in San Fran. Steve Kerr is a hippie with a set of balls. You know what I'm saying? Like he's different, man.
But at this point in time, is he trying on shoes? How many fits has he had?
Hey, it's a 1-year deal now. They don't do long-term career teams anymore. That's out of the picture, man. So maybe it's for 2 years, 3 years. Maybe he's there for another 5 when he retires. I don't know, but it's about fit and culture and where he's at in his life, mature-wise. I mean, he realizes these conversations are being said about him. He gets that. I think he has so much respect for Draymond and Steph and those guys. He ain't going to be a problem.
Draymond will just knock him out.
Boom. Exactly. All right. Again, it's about culture, man. It's about culture.
Right. Yeah, it's about culture, and I see it's in a science lab with him at this point in time. No, at this point in time, you guys got to figure it out. No, he's great, and seeing there are players that whether it's in any kind of sport in this day and age that played 5, 6, 7 teams, they're nothing but behaved. He's not necessarily always behaved, and that's the difference.
Yeah. He's a special child. He's a special child. Yeah. Sure.
Katie.
Jimmy Butler. He did go to college at Marquette. He played for Marquette for a while. He was drafted by the Bulls. He's been playing since 2011. So he's been playing quite a while. He's had quite a storied career so far. And I agree with Marvin. I think because it's not an individual sport. But yes, there are individuals that shine on some teams. And I think sometimes you need to be in the unique right fit. And you're not always going to fit with everybody and every team. And you're not going to always agree with a coach or a philosophy, the ownership philosophy, or and so I think it takes, especially for some reason, and I'm going to say this, especially in the NBA, which my husband Scott affectionately calls the NDA, the National Drama League.
NDL, National Drama League.
National Drama League.
National Drama Association.
That too. I think it really depends on the fit and the personalities of the players that are around you. Now, if you're a player that wants to shine, then other ones can't be, because you can't have that. Everybody can't want to shine and be in the spotlight by themselves. Like, you've got to be able to fit, and your personality has to come out at certain times. So, but Jimmy has been a good player. Like, he's got stats and longevity. So in this league, so you got to give him props for that. Like that, it takes quite a bit. He's been in the league, 14 years? You're not there by mistake at that point.
George.
Yeah, I don't know what more I could add, but I just wanted to say that I do agree with the statement, of course, that he is a good player, very, very good player. And I know that guys move around. It's quite obviously, that we talked about, or you guys talked about, they don't play in one city anymore for one team anymore. And he has moved. He's been with some really good teams. I mean, Chicago, and Minnesota, Philadelphia, Golden State, Miami. If he's surrounded by the right players, and I think that's the key there. What Marvin's saying, you got to have the right coach to work with. You got to have the right players on your team and your starters and whatever. And Butler seems to be very comfortable with Golden State. I mean, heck, he's still pumping in 21, 22 points a night. His playoff stats, actually his lifetime playoff scoring average is higher than his regular season one. So he is a guy that's a good indicative for me, a barometer that says this kid wants to play hard and play even more harder when he gets into the postseason. So I got no problems with him. I know he talks a lot, but hey, listen, he proves it on the court how good he is.
Well, he
Well,
also does stupid hair. He also does stupid hairstyles.
Well,
Yeah, just
Agreed.
that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
The generation, man.
Yeah.
I'm never
the guy,
gonna get the generation. I'm never
the
gonna
guy
get that.
does wear out his welcome wherever he goes. It's good for 2 or 3 years. All of a sudden, things get really rough, and all of a sudden, he's on the next train out of there or airplane and so forth. So,
Before we move on, Scott, I have to disagree with George on one fact. Not everybody moves from team to team. Giannis Antetokounmpo is proof that not everybody moves from team to team.
He'll be gone.
Yeah.
He'll be gone.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that, Candy. There's a lot of players that still like to stay with a team, but it doesn't happen that much anymore.
I understand.
I just say when I see Jimmy Butler could be complaining about all of these coaches, I just think he needs to play with like 1990s Ron Rothstein and see what he would say then.
yeah, Ron Rothstein, there's the name of the past.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's like, but I'm saying that guy basically wore you out. He was John McKay from 1970s with the Tampa Bay. He just wore you out the whole time.
Okay. Well, let's stay in Miami one more time. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons that the Canes continue to get College Game Day is because during their Week 4 game at the U was the second most watched, and it was unbelievable. And it was the second most watched in the history of the show, delivering 2.8 million viewers from 9 to noon, 3.4 million viewers in the final hour, and a total of 4.4 million views. And I'll tell you one thing, the Canes bring them in there, and that's why they keep going back. What are your thoughts about the drawing power, Marvin, of the Miami Hurricanes for game day?
Listen, the Canes are a real program. They're an exciting program. They're a swag program. They're a cool program. I think when the Canes are rocking and rolling, I think America's interested. I think they've built a brand that's exciting, and it's kind of like must-see TV to a degree. So it's interesting to see, what they're doing this year. They have opportunity, obviously, to get into the playoffs and to make a run at it this year in college football. It's up for grabs. I mean, Ohio State and Indiana are real, but anybody can be beat, and I still believe nobody's going undefeated. But yeah, the Canes, the Canes are winning, and they're exciting, and people are watching.
Yeah, and they keep bringing them down to Coral Gables. Jacob?
Well, the big thing about Miami is they came in at a really, really good time. Like when they got big, you had Howard Schnellenberger and then Jimmy Johnson. They got big. They got cool. They got all that. And they came in at a time it was just the Dolphins and the Hurricanes. And that was it. And they came in during that time. And it's like, this is a world now. You got to realize a lot of the people that grew up with them, they're my age to about 55. Right. They grew up, so they got kids. So you got that type of thing. So you get them hooked on it. The thing about it is the fact that this is now the people. I mean, Miami is still cool. It's still South Beach. And they're waiting for Miami to get good. That's why they get it so much. It's like, that's why when you have those numbers and it's for beating Florida State, it's for beating these. And even when they're losing, when they have a tough loss like that. And the thing about it is they're just waiting. The world is being patiently waiting for them to get cool again. And that's just what it is.
Candy?
Let's face it. Miami draws. Just the city of Miami. Who doesn't think of South Beach and the warmth? Then you pile on the history of the Hurricanes. Then you pile on, they had the number 1 draft pick in the NFL last year with Cam Ward. You have the storylines with Carson Beck going to Miami. A lot of things drawing you in. And then the Canes were relevant. The Canes were doing really well. They were ranked really high when College Game Day came in. They did it. I mean, let's face it. They even put game day not on a football field, because obviously the Canes don't have an on-campus stadium, but they went down to campus. And where were they? They were by the pool so that, we could, what's his name? Pat McAfee could jump into the pool at the end and really make it, fun and exciting and warmth and just what Miami is. And I think that was another part of the allure and why people tuned in as well.
George.
Yeah, I mean, they are a drawing power, no question about it. They had these lean years, but go back to that Jimmy Johnson era and that special ESPN ran, and when Notre Dame, Lou Holtz, and that whole thing about the thugs versus the religious guys or Catholics, whatever.
Catholics versus convicts.
Thank you. But it's a new image now, and I say that because University of Miami. Great name, like you said. They want to project an image of here's the place to come and play. It's not just a matter of hanging out and skipping classes and trying to be number one on the football field. I mean, this is a good school. It is a good school, and they have a very good reputation. I think, especially like you guys said, this year, I mean, the one loss only to Louisville. They're doing a great job. I know Scott and Candy, you guys are covering them all the time. Right. And that's a great story, and I look for big things from them. I really do when the playoffs come.
Well, the reality is they are a draw. That's why they keep going back there. Yeah. You have such drawing power that you bring in people like Michael Irvin and all these other ones out there. They're going to bring them there. They have 5 national championships. Yeah, I know Howard Schellenberg well. He was a father figure to me. Well, you know what? It's time for a non-sports topic to bring in here. I have 2 of them here. Now we're going to take you to Iceland, but this time we're going to have a little bit of fun here because some of these events have taken place in October. So I'm going to put them all out there as well. The best events in Iceland: Reykjavik International Film Festival took place on September 25th to October 5th. It's a celebration of bold and emerging cinema with screening across the city of unique venues. Reykjavik also had an opera days from October 16th to the 26th. Need I say more? And of course, lastly, October 26th, they recently had the Festival of Nations at Cronies in West Iceland, a colorful celebration of diversity with music, food, and traditions from around the globe. All right, I know I put a lot of Iceland stuff. At some point, I'll go out there and put other countries. But Marvin, what do you think about what they do in October for these people?
Man, there's a lot going on. I'm a foodie, so you got me with the food. That'd be the event for me. Iceland. Yes. Yeah.
That's okay.
It's cool. No, it's cool. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of activities, man. It's, it's I grew up in LA and New York, so that stuff doesn't mean it's a lot of, it's, I guess for Iceland, it's a good time, and it's those guys that have they enjoy themselves. I don't have a lot for you, Scott. I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, you're okay. Listen, anything you have is good enough for me. The bottom line is Iceland should realize they got one of their best promoters out here. I went there and promote the daylights out of it. That's why I put all this stuff.
You are.
And I'll tell you, it's a heck of a place. So I'm telling you. It's okay. Yeah. I have another interesting one later on. Oh, do I ever have another interesting one later on?
You always do.
That won't change tonight either, Jacob. So give me your thoughts about this Iceland. Hey, I just
Marvin, the way you just said Iceland reminds me of Wayne's World. Delaware. Hi, I'm in Delaware. No. The big thing about it is hearing this about film festivals and foods and all that kind of stuff. When you talk about film festival, that's where you caught me. Because you had Toronto, Vancouver have gotten bigger than Hollywood. Iceland is up there because I've heard of this. Atlanta's bigger. Everywhere but Hollywood now. The foods, everything like that. Everything in the world. You used to go to New York for Wall Street, now you can go inside of your living room. You used to go to Hollywood for the thing. You used to go to Hollywood for the film, now you can go to Reykjavik. You can, with food, with music, it was Miami, and now it's everywhere. You go everywhere for everything now, and here's the thing: it's not just the cultural diversity or a kind of racial diversity or any of that diversity. It's all kinds of diversity. Because you can go to a small town and do things, do the food deals. You can go for like tin dusters and for cars. You can do that for
Right.
film. You can do everything everywhere now.
Candy.
Iceland was beautiful. Reykjavik is their one big city that they have there. And to be able to do this draw and be able to bring in the communities and stuff like that, that's really cool. I mean, I think it's fun for the people that they have there. It's fun to bring the tourists in as well. And kudos to them.
George.
Well, yeah, you've talked about them as being such an interesting and beautiful country, and I'm sure my three touch points again were my cousin Michael Plasinski was in the United States Air Force. He spent many years in Iceland, and he raved about it. He's not with us any longer, but I know Mike told me a long time ago how beautiful that country was. So it doesn't surprise me that you guys have had that experience now and seen the beauty of it. And as far as the film festivals go, I think that's great. I mean, Cannes is the big one, and of course, LA or wherever, Miami or New York, whatever has a big one. But to have one in Reykjavik or somewhere in Iceland, you said, that's a great plus for that country. That is good because films are big, as we all know. That's money making.
I mean, the culture there is just unbelievable. I love learning on a country that I'll tell you what I've been to that most people ever haven't been up there because it's way up there, but it is what it is. And I'll keep throwing some interesting hay there every once in a while. But these three facts, we did something with Halloween on Monday night, which is pretty cool stuff. So with that said, okay, let's go ahead and talk about another place that Stephen A. Smith isn't too happy about. And I don't think the tourism is something that he particularly cares for. And that's this. He says that the NBA players actually playing in Memphis have told him that they would feel unsafe in Memphis. And he also mentioned Jimmy Butler's name. So, Marva, what do you think about Stephen A. Smith not endorsing Memphis?
No, I get it, man. They got crime issues and all kind of issues in Memphis. I know a couple of Memphis retired officers, and they've told me, man, when the sun goes down, you better get out of town. And that's unfortunate, man, because Memphis has based on the music and BB King, that aspect of it, there's a beautiful history, and beautiful city, and it's unfortunate, like these other American cities that are being overran, whether it's due to a bad economy, lack of jobs, whatever it may be. But yeah, it's unfortunate, and I believe that these NBA players who really they want to be in Houston, they want to be in Miami, they want to be in LA, and it's tough when you got a city like Memphis where they can't even go out, in fear of being robbed, because they're wearing a gold chain or going to a restaurant or driving around town in their luxury cars. I mean, this is how they live, and the reality is that they're major targets. You see, what happened with Pat Mahomes and Kelsey, their homes being burglarized. I mean, athletes are targeted. So I get the concern of these NBA players who, again, these guys, if you see them, they're NBA players because they look like giants. You know what I'm saying? The shortest guy is like 6'4", so it's easy to put two and two together when you see them in the street sometimes. And I think I think what they're saying is real. There's a real concern, and there should be, and hopefully something is done to get that city safe.
Jacob?
What wasn't mentioned is you bring up Memphis, but what's not mentioned is how many times do you hear NBA players want to go to Chicago these days? I mean, a lot of them are drafted, a lot of them stuff like that, but how many do you hear that? Chicago's not exceptionally safe either. And the thing is, and St. Louis better be glad they don't have an NBA team because they'd be up there too. We just have is a complete issue. It's an ego. A lot of it's an ego issue with them also, because if they go out, they have to kind of go out empty, without their chains, without all that stuff, without money, without all that, because it has to be safe, but they don't want to, and then they lose money, and then it's been in the news. You know what I'm saying there, Marvin? And it's like, one of the biggest thing about it is, truthfully, by itself, you need to be able to go in. You go out and then get in before dark. It's what you really need to do. But look at the issues that we find. It's like you had DUI for Paul Pierce. You had another one for Adrian Peterson. They just have such an ego and a sickness, and Some just want to drink all the time. They want to do all that. And it's like, you can't tell them no. It's the unfortunate part that they get in trouble.
Good points. Candy?
I think part of it also depends on what they're doing and where they're doing it. Because there are certain parts of cities that are, no matter what big city you're going into, there's bad parts and there's good parts. And I think part of it, yes, what do you draw attention to yourself? Because to be honest with you, I don't recognize a lot of professional athletes when they're out and about. The one thing I will say about NBA is that you see them, whereas like on the football field, they have a helmet on, they have pads on, and so you don't really see the same physique. You don't see their faces, but in the NBA, you do. You see them. So going out, depending on where you're going out, you can draw attention. And yes, if you've got all these different gold chains on, you're drawing attention to yourself. It's kind of, and they have to be careful. Where are they going? Are they going into certain establishments that maybe are prone to have more people there that are watching and seeing what you're doing, but yeah, you're going to have bad parts of any big city and stuff like that. So you do have to be careful where you're going.
Stephen A. Smith and what you people are telling me, they're not giving me a glowing endorsement to go to Memphis by any stretch of the imagination. That's for sure. George?
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear this. It doesn't surprise me, of course. All big cities have unfortunate areas, like you guys said. And of course, Detroit, we don't even have to start talking about them because we know the bad rap and the reputation that was given to Detroit, and some of it rightfully so in years past. And now the city obviously is on a rebound. But Memphis, you're right about that, Marvin. I'm glad you brought that up about the blues. And, there's just such a very important city as far as the music industry goes. But then you have to say to yourself, okay, let's see, Nashville. Okay, Nashville. Yeah, country music, NFL, and NHL. So Memphis is one of those towns, as we've talked before on other shows, that only has one franchise. One pro sports team in that sense. And something has to be done. I know, I'm not there with the police. I'm not there with the emergency. I'm not there with the mayor or whatever. From a distance, you say to yourself, get this right. Try to fix it. And it's a culture. It is. It really is a culture. Unfortunately, there's too many people out there that want to do it, and they want to do it by taking what somebody else has. And I don't care what city you're in America. I don't like it. It's got to stop.
Well, you have Memphis, you have Graceland and Elvis Presley. I know people like to do that. But outside of that, it makes me wonder. All right, so George, we're going to stay with you for just a moment. This one's the only one you're going to really address. Every now and then I'll come up with a hometown topic like I did with Marvin yesterday. We'll do it here with George. Detroit businessman Dan Gilbert and his wife Jennifer are getting a divorce. Do you think there's any effect on his rebuilding efforts in Motown? Because I know Dan Gilbert, I know getting a divorce is not an easy thing. I've been through it. It's not fun, but Dan Gilbert has poured a lot of time and resources to make Detroit and help toward their rebuild. This is just you, and then we'll go to a station break.
Yeah, they haven't really talked about it too much here, but obviously the demand for Dan Gilbert's time in all these projects, whether it's in Cleveland or Detroit, and of course we're talking about downtown Detroit. Most of the projects buying these buildings, his company, right. Bedrock, they're called, and I'm sure that had to have something to do with the strain that was going on. Plus, he had a massive stroke, and obviously he had to be brought back into therapy and all the things, and he's done a really good job at it, by the way. He's really come back very strong. But I don't like to hear these stories. I don't. And Scott, I'll add one more. Christopher Illich and his wife are divorcing. And again, you got a guy that's really into the community, and again, trying to raise a family and keep a marriage going with all that business stuff going on. It is very difficult, I'm sure. I don't like to hear it, but unfortunately, it's part of what happens.
Yeah, let's go to a station break.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And the foreword is written by George Eichhorn. Talks about Scott's 40 plus years in the industry and how it has evolved and changed. Old school media versus new school media. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise, call Scott 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. One last thing though, that red subscribe button, if you see it, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. What are you waiting for? Just click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Back to you, Scott.
All right, Marvin, you want to go back to the NBA playoffs for a minute?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do that. Okay, 3 of the most expensive Knicks games occurred ever, and the average ticket price versus the Celtics was in Game 4 against Boston, $1,134. Not too bad. Of course, we'll probably get them for it out there as well. Well, you got Game 3 against Boston, $1,020. In Game 6 versus Boston, $1,019. And you know what? Recently, Tom Thibodeau went up there and has given the Celtics a little bit of advice. So, what are your thoughts about the ticket prices, Marvin, that they were charging back there for this?
Yeah, I moved to New York in 3rd grade, and one of the first things that all of my friends taught me, my Met fans, Yankee fans, Jet fans, Giant fans, Ranger fans, first thing they taught me is that you hate everything Boston. You know what I mean? So no, that's real. That is real. That is real. New Yorkers are united against Boston. Believe that. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that 2 historic, all-time great franchises, especially, where they've had so many competitive matches, that they would have such a high ticket price. It sucks for the American fan, for the American family, but that's market value. That's what it is. That game is in high demand. Whether it's in Boston on their famous floor or if it's in MSG. I mean, you're talking about iconic places, historic places where some of the greatest athletes, entertainers ever have been. And even within just in the NBA, you look at the history of the NBA, some of the greatest players ever have come from Boston and come from New York. So, it doesn't surprise me at all. And, listen, regardless of record, that rivalry, that hatred, that whatever you want to call it, is going to be here for 100 more years.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau just added to it a little bit by hanging out with him.
I like old Tom Thibodeau. Yeah.
What's that?
I like old Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, I do too. Too. But yeah, you're right. They can get that money in New York and Boston. I mean, think about those figures, man.
Come on. Oh yeah.
$134 out there is a drop in the bucket. 10, 20, 10, 19. No problem. Jacob?
Yeah, and here's my thing. When it comes to ticket prices, when it comes to salaries, when it comes to any of these things, I would love the news to quit saying what the record is, and it has nothing to do with the amount, because I just have a knowledge and know-how to say that it's going to stay that high. It's going to stay that high and keep getting higher. The thing is, you'll hear things like the ticket price. You'll hear about salaries. You'll hear all this. It's going to be busted in 6 months. It'll be busted in a year. It'll be broken. It's not like that these will get broken in 35, 40 years. They get broken then. But as far as New York and Boston, let me bring this up to you, Marvin. One thing I remembered is being a Larry Bird guy like I was, and it was in Illinois, mind you, but I'd meet New Yorkers. One thing I always did hear, we hate those Celtics, but I got to respect Bird.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's what I heard. It's like that's what always made me proud when I was a kid and everything. It's because they hated the Celtics. They hated Boston. Hated everything about Boston. And yet it's one of those, you hate him when he's there, but it was one of those deals. There was just not a lot of hate on the overall. Even the Lakers fans gave him a standing O when he came around there. They're just he's kind of the last of the breed on that. But that's just New York and Boston in general.
Andy?
There are iconic and very well-known players for those franchises, and that makes a difference. And those franchises have a deep history, and so that doesn't surprise me. And they're iconic venues, like, let's face it, Madison Square Garden, for to go see a game there. That's one of the things that are probably on most. If you are a fan of the game, that would be a bucket list item. Just kind of like Lambeau Field is for football, Wrigley Field for baseball, like some of those iconic places that you want to go to. So when they have playoffs in them, and especially with the talent that they did, and yes, Jacob, you might hate a team, but most real good fans respect a really good player. Let's face it, a lot of people didn't like the Patriots, but they had respect for Tom Brady. You just do. And so you pay for those, and those high ticket prices, especially in a big city like New York.
George.
Well, yeah, that's true, Candy. The ticket prices, unfortunately, keep going higher and higher. And yeah, if you're in LA, you're in New York, Chicago, I mean, those cities are going to have higher pricing than anybody else. But and I can appreciate what Marvin said about hating Boston and all that. But my God, I think some of it's got to be jealousy. I mean, look at all those NBA titles the Celtics have won compared to they're still trying to get one. The Knicks. Come on, how many years has it been now? Wasn't it? Is it
George, most hate is rooted in jealousy. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I just want to put it out there, though.
Yeah.
But I really think that they're two great sports towns. There's no question about it. And as far as hoops go, they both got a great history. Like you said, Candy, Madison Square Garden, the Boston Garden. I mean, you talk about Chicago Stadium. We're talking about those iconic gyms, as we called them at one time, gymnasiums to play ball. And yeah, they're going to be top dollar for those tickets, Scott. And it goes to be said that they're in such high demand. Yeah.
Don't matter. They'll write the check. Those people. That's how.
Yeah.
That's the way they are in those respective towns, because they are a passionate fan base.
What's a check?
Yeah, right.
What's a check?
Exactly. Or I don't know, what do they do it these days?
I was thinking PayPal or.
I don't know. I'm old school. Check. I can't pray. I have these people telling me to talk into these things when I put topics. I still type. That just shows you where I'm at when it comes to all this new technology. So go figure. All right. Well, our feature topic of the night. First time in team history, the New York Jets lost 2 games with 13 points or fewer. They lost to Denver 13-11. The Carolina Panthers beat them 13-6. And then they rebounded over the weekend to beat the Cincinnati Bengals 39-38. Justin Fields looked like himself in this particular game, especially considering the fact that he locked himself in a closet and Woody Johnson was calling him out. But the reality of the situation is the owner throws him under the bus. So, Candy, what was it that Justin Fields finally did to get people off his back? And how many yards did he throw for?
He was 21 of 32 for 244 yards with a touchdown.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Woo-hoo. Hey,
that's his career high. I think no, it's not, but still.
Well, I know you're one of his biggest fans.
Fool's gold. Fool's gold.
Fool's gold. There
Trust
you go.
me, fool's gold.
Well,
Look,
right.
I didn't listen. I personally did not have a problem with Woody Johnson saying what he said about completing a pass. I didn't think that was so horrific and mean, and I thought he was being straight up. In the game he was referring to, I think it was a Denver game. I mean, Justin was holding the ball forever, and we had opportunities to get completions, and we just didn't do it because he was afraid to pull the trigger. This kid, he is so athletic for that position, so talented. You saw in college, he does have a certain skill set, but it hasn't translated yet. Listen, maybe this kid will go somewhere and be the next Daniel Jones. Probably not, but no, certainly probably not. But listen, I was shocked that we won that game, to be honest with you. Right now I'm thinking about where we're going to be picking in the draft. That's where I'm at with our season right now. But right. I didn't have a problem with Woody Johnson. Justin played okay in the win, but I've seen what I need to see. I don't I don't see him winning me over, winning Jet Nation over.
Jacob.
Oh, you don't think you're going to win another 9 in a row and get to the playoffs there, Mark?
I thought we were going 10-7. That's the problem. That's why I'm so angry.
Now you
I thought we were going 10-7.
No, the thing about it was I absolutely thought Cincinnati was going to take that one just because the Jets weren't scoring at all. Zero, zilch. I mean, they were scoring George Costanza on Seinfeld, but still during those times. But the thing is, you have to always remember is when we get so excited, like watching like Pittsburgh, like the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game when Cincinnati had that great game, we have to remember we're getting all excitable about Joe Flacco. He's 41 years old, and then he had a pretty darn good game against the Jets, but now he's got a joint problem in his shoulder, and he might be out. And that's probably what was affecting him at the end of the game on that one. So we can't just get excited constantly and treat. See, a lot of the fans, and you said it yourself, fan means fanatic. You said it yourself, And the biggest thing that we do all the time is we get ourselves completely excited. Oh, they're going 10 in a row. Oh my God, they get excited on Thursday Night Football. You watch. I mean, they might have gotten excited. Some people probably pick up Justin Fields for their fantasy the next week, and he has 22 yards again. It's the thing is in the end, no question. Those questions asked, Cincinnati has a horrible defense. Now, if he goes up against, say, the Chiefs, he's screwed.
Yeah, Katie.
He came in to a bad organization. Let's face it. He was drafted by the Bears. He went into a bad organization. He's had numerous coaches, and we've talked about this, that sometimes you need a good, sturdy situation and be in the same situation for a while. And then he got traded, and then he gets moved, and we get new coaches, and he hasn't had stability either. I think and I don't know that a lot of these coaches have given him a lot of confidence. And so I don't think he has confidence. I don't know that that's something he can even regain at this point. But to get one win, hey, kudos to him because he's got more wins in the NFL than I do. So, and he's making a heck of a lot more money. So, but.
Well, I mean, face it, the reality is the title of the show New York Jets avoid winless season, so they don't have to worry about that.
Well, Candy, just think of it this way. In 2 games this year, we all of it by ourselves combined have had more yards than him than that by itself. Because he's had 2 games where he's had negative net yards of throwing. So we can say by sitting here we've had more than him.
And it's all compounded by the fact that there were real expectations. There were people like myself and people who really dived into this thing who came out nationally and publicly and said the Jets are potentially a playoff team. The Jets can be, a 10-win team. And on paper, that's how we looked, minus the quarterback. We didn't know about the quarterback. We didn't know what we were getting with the quarterbacks because that was everything, And what we realize now is that we were way too emotional about Aaron. Just from a football standpoint, we should have kept Aaron. It made sense when you look at his injury timeline and just, where he was in his rehab process. Right now he's not killing it for the Steelers, but he also ain't hurting them. He's not their problem. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think we might have a better roster than them. So again, this unfortunately was a quarterback situation, and also the head coach right now. Aaron Glenn has made some questionable calls, some questionable clock management. It didn't help Justin or our team at all. So this is a major disappointment. And to be honest with you, I mean, nobody wants to go 0-17, but Jets fans realize that, this is about the future. So are the Jets going to make a move before November the 4th? I don't know. Are they going to do something major? We got the receiver from John Minchie, right, from the Eagles, Mechie. So dynamic kid, hasn't played much this year, but let's see what he can do. But yeah, this is a dumpster fire for the New York Jets, Scott.
Go trade for Flacco again.
Yeah, without a doubt, Marvin, you're 100% right. Here's the reality of the situation: is Glenn messed up that Aaron Rodgers thing as much as you can. You don't bring a guy across country and tell him you're not going to be with the team. What the hell? Come on, ever heard of Zoom Eric? Really? Seriously? Really? Come on, you do even
Yeah.
better
Well,
than
listen,
that.
he said in his defense, he said he thought the face to face was more respectful. So I understand that perspective, but you're right. It is the technology. Times are different. We're doing Zoom meetings. So yeah, I mean, why make him travel? 10 hours total just to get fired? I get it.
I mean, give me a break. I mean, you're talking I-95. You can take that drive up there in my sleep there, up there. I mean, you're talking about from the West Coast up there to say you're out of here. This is what you have to do. Aaron Glenn. I mean, who the heck is going to root for you
Unless I had
like
some
that?
guaranteed money, Scott. If I had some guaranteed money left, like these coaches and these buyouts, then that's cool. We could do a face to face. Just give me my 50 mil on the way out.
You know what that gap reminds me of? George can probably relate to this. When Rod Marinelli had the Detroit Lions fly across overseas to play a game, and they didn't even stay in a hotel. Then they lost. I think it was to the Raiders. That was bad. That's why I'm glad Rod Marinelli got booted out of there. But Aaron, you can do better than that. You really, really, really can. So, all right, everybody comment on this one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have too much to add. I'm the only one that hasn't, Scott. But no, you're not going to win. You look at these passing numbers. Like you guys mentioned about the Denver and Carolina. Oh my God, 9 for 17, 45 yards, and then against Carolina, 6 for 12 for 46 yards. Those numbers are not sustainable. No way in the NFL, as we know. So yes, Fields has been very much a disappointment. And Aaron Glenn, as much as I loved him here in Detroit as the defensive coordinator, it's a whole new ball game, as we all know, when you're strapping it up and you're the head coach and you're calling the shots for everything. And he's learning fast. He's learning
He's
fast.
got great dance moves when he thinks they're going to win.
Yeah,
he has that going for him.
That's why you have Broadway. Okay,
Yeah.
it is. That's why you have Broadway, and you talk about toxic. That's as toxic of a place as you can get. So I'll tell you what, Jacob, time for fun and fun. 2 more topics to go.
You want me to do punter? Or you want to do the 2 topics?
No, go ahead. You do it. No, and then we'll end it with 2. And don't worry, Marvin. I figure you were locked into football, so I'm waiting for a lot of the basketball one. But we have a couple I wanted to get out later. But we have some interesting stuff. But don't worry, there'll be a lot more basketball coming up. Go ahead. You can do the pundit thing. And we have 2 more.
I saw something that was the most embarrassing situation you could have whatsoever. It was on Sunday. The Atlanta game against Miami. This is where we get problems. This is where Falcons. This is constant. This was embarrassing. This is a 1-16 and you lose 34-10. And you had the excitement of Kirk Cousins coming back because he was playing supposedly better last year than Penix did and all that stuff. So they're thinking, oh, he'll do this again. When you're that age, even if you have that kind of money and you sit them for that long, they're going to collect dust. And then they got to get themselves warmed up again. That showed you can't be doing that. And the way that Atlanta handled that situation, going to pick him up and then getting a number 8 seed with Michael Penix. Mind you, I wanted something like that. Instead of Caleb, I wanted a different player and then to get a number 8 to belong with it. This is what I wanted, but the Bears needed that a lot more than the Falcons did. The problem, we have an issue here with communication, and we have ego, and we have the whole thing, especially around here. Then you wonder why you don't win. And then if you have a owner like an Arthur Blank and all that kind of stuff, and then he had to go down there and he was shocked and all that stuff. Why wasn't this guy fired straight off the bat when you gave a direction, when you paid $180 million? You can't get rid of Cousins at $180 million. No one's going to want that on their books. So ask this question: Why didn't he fire the guy right off the bat for basically what's a good word for saying this? He basically bucked Arthur Blank when he got that number 8, when he got Penix right off the bat, right after the $180 million.
Right.
And then he bucked him. But the thing is, we're seeing so much of this. They're bucking their owners, they're bucking their coaches, they're bucking everything. And there's no, I mean, players buck the coaches, they buck everything. There's no, there's no consequences. How many times do we see things like, dropping the ball at the one? No consequences. None. They play the next week. I think Mari Demercado finally had to sit. I think Adonai Mitchell finally sat. It took a couple 3 weeks though. There are no consequences toward anything. That's why we have problems with culture. That's why we have problems with culture on these teams. And I know it's money and I know it's all that, but if you want to see truly a winning team, why is KC constantly winning? Why is Philadelphia constantly winning? Why is all that constantly winning? You can't buck them. It is a team. It is a culture. You buck them, you're screwed. And it needs to be this way a lot more with these teams. You've got to quit being afraid. And that's what I have to say.
Okay, very good. All right, we have another non-sports topic to get to. Kellogg's is going to sell their cereal company after 119 years, people, in a $3 billion transaction to actually Italian sweets maker. So what are your thoughts about Kellogg's, Marvin, being sold 119 years? That's unbelievable, isn't it?
To a non-American company, you said?
Yeah, it's called Italian sweets maker. I don't know if they're American or not, but that's who they're selling it to.
Gotcha. Listen, for 3 billion. I don't know why I thought it'd be more than that. I'm not sure, but it's a heck of a number. Kellogg's is a company that fed me for many, many years, and I was, so I'm a foodie. I'm the guy that goes into the cereal aisle and looks at all the boxes like they're trophies. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Right.
I'm looking at something in an Amsterdam window. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I love the cereal aisle. But no, man, that's business, man. You build a company up, build a heck of a brand, and you sell it for business. Sell it for billions, man. That's the American dream, ain't it?
119 years old, $3 billion.
Yeah.
George, have you ever been to that place?
Yes, me and my wife went to that tour one time with the kids at Battle Creek, Michigan, and it was nice. It was a real nice tour they give you of the factory, and then there's a special, few small boxes of cereal at the end. Nothing extravagant, but it was so nice. They were a Michigan company through and through. All those years, Snap, Crackle, and Pop, Tony the Tiger. We don't need to go on. There's so much tradition when you hear about these companies being sold. And, and like you said, Marvin, the price is right. You get people that want to buy these, and the stockholders for the selling company say, yeah, let's do it. And the executives, but yeah, it's got a great tradition, and they're not going away, folks. They're not going away. They will still be a very formidable force in the breakfast cereal industry. Trust me.
Okay. Well, we'll trust you. Okay. It's a Michigan topic. Why shouldn't I? All right. Go ahead, Candy.
It's sad when you see a lot of these companies going international and jumping to and the problem with part of that is we've seen higher costs of things because of tariffs to bring things back in now, and it's sad. It's sad because you're also taking away a lot of jobs. And if you think about it, and you're going to take Kellogg's that does cereal, and you're going to put them overseas. The profits goes overseas. Do they move their plants overseas? Then they employ their employees, not ours. That's what's sad. I mean, the hardworking Americans are losing some of their jobs, and that unfortunately happens all too often.
So everybody's talked about this. Yeah, it is amazing that after 119 years, they're gonna be no more. But then again, nowadays you see other companies over 100 years that are closing as well. But I've had it. It's good stuff. Never been to the factory, but I'm sure that new company that'll walk in there will do a good job taking it over and creating their own brand. All right, we're gonna have two more basketball topics.
Also, one thing. Here's one thing too.
Sure.
Here's one thing with this is the fact that cereal. There's less and less people eating cereal now. There's less and less people eating Kellogg's and products now, and so $3 billion is a bargain. But there's a reason it's a bargain. It's like less people are eating that kind of stuff right now. It's just a different world. They're eating more health food type things. They're eating more. You're like, it's like you hear about Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and they have to own more drinks. They have to own more of this. Pepsi just bought a product called Poppy, which was they just bought them, and I'd say a couple of months ago. It's like everything now is such a competitive deal that it's like we're going to have few companies owning everything. But the thing is about Kellogg's is they're probably going to be, I bet you they don't do cereal in the next 5-10 years. There's just not enough people buying it. Not anymore.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, you know what? We got a couple of basketball topics, and don't worry, Marvin, they'll get be more interesting as time goes on. We're not going to get.
It's all good, Scott. I'm
away with
enjoying
our football. Hey, but these are easy. Candace Parker's jerseys have been retired by the Chicago Sky. What are your thoughts about that, Marvin? Candace Parker.
Candace Parker's a baller. I want to say she was MVP her rookie season, and she had an amazing college career at Tennessee, and I know she's considered to be one of the best players ever in the WNBA when she played, and I think she does a great job as an analyst, and she's been great for the women's game.
More power to her, Jacob.
Oh yeah, I mean that went without saying. Her being in a Hall of Fame, are you kidding? She's a tremendous player. It's like of this era, she's a Cheryl Miller. You know what I mean? Of this era for that. I wouldn't say she's going to score 100 points like Cheryl Miller or do all those things that she did during her time, but for this era, she is. So, I mean, that goes without saying.
Andy?
First of all, you got to love her name. I mean, what can I say, Yeah. We share the name. The only thing is I tell people she's an ace in tennis and I'm cold as ice. So, but anyways, she was regarded as one of the greatest NBA players. She was selected as the first overall pick in the 2008 WNBA draft by the Los Angeles Sparks. 13 seasons on the Sparks, 2 seasons with Chicago Sky, and 1 season with Las Vegas Aces, winning the championship with each team she has won. So awesome for her. She's a 3-time WNBA champion. She's a WNBA Finals most valuable player, 2-time WNBA MVP, 7-time All-Star, 7-time first team WNBA, Rookie of the Year, all rookie team. She's won Defensive Player of the Year, Assist Leader, 3 times Rebounding Leader, 2 times Blocks. I mean, she's just got so many different things that I could go on and on and on, and we don't have enough time on the show for me to tell you all the different things that she's won. Just a very versatile player. She mainly played forward and center positions. In high school, she won National Girls Player of the Year awards, becoming just the second junior and the only woman to receive Gatorade Basketball Player of the Year award twice. College, she had 2 consecutive national championships. Was named Final Four's most outstanding player. Like, her accolades just keep, like, her list of accolades goes a mile long. So she deserves all those accolades. She was a hard worker, played the game right. And since 2018, she's now been an analyst commentator for TNT Sports, providing coverage of NBA games on TNT and NBA TV, and for NC2A men's basketball as well.
Hey, Candy, if you keep mentioning these accolades, you're going to have more work to do later. Just remember that, okay?
That's why I stopped.
That's okay. I'm just telling you, giving you a tip. She's great. I've never seen a better researcher than you, no doubt. But she has to deal with it on the back end. Anybody that hasn't talked about this? George, have you said anything about this?
I don't have much more to add. She's just a super player, a Hall of Famer, no question about it. And she deserves that nickname Ace, and just a great player, and grew up in Naperville, Illinois. She's terrific. I like her commentary too. I mean, she's made a smooth transition. She's still in charge, I believe, of Adidas women's Adidas, the division there. That she's still involved very much in that, and but she's an exciting player, always has been, no question about it.
Okay, final topic of the night goes to Larry Bird. Says the NBA needs to be international. Jacob, what do you think about what Birdman's saying?
Well, he knows. It's everything's going international. The NFL's going international, and NHL was definitely international. The Major League Baseball went to Korea, very first time of the year, or was it Japan?
Right.
But they went overseas. Everybody's going overseas, and NBA. I mean, they have an NBA Africa, so it's like you can't stay in America anymore. You just can't. It's such a competitive world. It's a smaller world.
Candy?
Everybody's doing it, and NFL has done it really well. Even you're seeing colleges now playing international games. So everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. They want to be able to recruit over there as well as bring their sport over there. Let's face it. In the World Series right now, how many international players do we have? The greatest player right now in baseball, Shohei Ohtani, from international. They're only trying to grow and expand. Kudos to them.
George?
If they do it, for Bird for saying it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been talked about for so many times in so many different sports. And we're just going to have to wait and see who's going to be the first one. Is it going to be the NFL? Is it going to be the NBA? Or will it be baseball? I doubt it. Or hockey? I doubt it. But it's coming. There's no question about it's coming. We're going to have major league teams in Europe or perhaps other parts of the world as well.
Great stuff, George. All right, Marvin.
Yeah, in the NBA, I don't think we've had an American-born MVP since like 2017, 2018. Without question, the best players in this league, the top draft picks are always foreign, it seems like. So, yeah, the game is evolving, and with the internet, you're able to scout differently, recruit differently, reach differently, brand differently. Like everyone said, the world is just getting smaller. Again, this is not a sport. This is a business, and they're trying to make money and grow their brand. And if you understand that, then it all makes sense.
Well, there's a reason why the NBA players are playing in the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously they want to play international, and they've been doing that for a while. So they, Adam Silver, David Stern, doesn't matter. The commissioners realize that international hay is where they have to go, and there's no question that they're looking to do it. More power to them. We'll see how it all plays out. Well, great show. We don't have to do 2-hour marathons all the time. We can do them a little bit shorter and be just as efficient with what we have here. So that's all right too, because people do have bedtimes, and guess what? We have the World Series, so I don't want to take too many people away from it. But with that said, George Eichhorn will be on with me tomorrow night on Sports Wrap. Let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
All right. You can read my works on the South Florida Tribune website under the contributors section, where I talk about sports, mostly in Michigan, but all over the country. Yes. I have a book called Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air. Thank you, Candy. That's the cover of it. And there's a link at the end of my column if you'd like to pick up a copy of it. You can reach me at gicorn@yahoo.com and on Twitter, X at SandGSports99. I'm also a frequent user of Facebook, of course, and LinkedIn as well.
Jacob.
Thank you.
I'm on Sideline Sports about 2-3 days a week. I'm on here on Wednesday nights. I do writings, which I actually sent you guys a writing just recently.
Okay.
I do writings on both the South Florida Tribune and Inscriber magazine, along with, and then a couple others. And I got all kinds of different irons in the fire.
Okay, Marvin, I'm telling you, if there's ever a guy who has made more progress making his name more than you, I'd like to find that person. You are aggressive and you're unbelievable the way you're building your platform. So why don't you let everybody know, Marvin, how they get a hold of you and all the different shows that you have?
Yeah, Scott, obviously you have been a major part of that. Just allow me to use your platform and be on here as a guest. I'm very grateful. You can catch me with the South Florida Tribune Tuesday evenings, Wednesday morning, and Wednesday evenings here. You can catch me Monday and Friday, Locked On USC, And you can catch me on Once a Week with USCJ. It's Marvin on the mic for Twitter, for Instagram, for TikTok. It's Marvin Powell III on Facebook.
Well, Marvin, what can I say? You might use the platform when you put out the kind of work that you're doing. Why wouldn't I? I'm not stupid. I've been called a lot of things. Stupido if you're when it comes to Puerto Rican, but no, I know what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and I told you anyway that I can help you out. I'm going to do it. That goes without saying. I've never seen a guy progress so much like you have in such a short period of time, and the sky's the limit with you, Marvin. I'm just glad I'm here to be a fan and getting to watch you develop. So with that said, Marvin, keep up the good work, and anything I can do, I'll do to help you. And you have my book, so I'm sure
we'll be
be
discussing that next week.
Beautiful. That's okay. You got the book, and
Yeah.
hopefully you'll find that as a useful tool. All right, we'll turn it over to Candy for one last station break, and we'll go from there. Great show tonight. And for those of you that I know already have the competition with the World Series, don't worry. It's not going anywhere. It's going on YouTube. You can watch it. Covered a lot of ground today for sure. Go ahead, Candace.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved. Old school media versus new school media. And George Eichhorn wrote the foreword. He's on the screen as well. Great job, gentlemen. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. And watch before too long, we're going to have the ebook, not the ebook copy, the audio book too. So just keep tuning in, and we'll give you more details when that gets finalized. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, you can call Scott 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest on the show or have topic ideas that you'd like us to cover, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Most importantly, though, if you see that red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, click it, like us, share us, and then tell all of your friends and family, anybody that you think would enjoy any or all of our programming. We have so much programming. We have baseball on Monday nights. We have football on Tuesday nights. Wednesday nights here on Sports Exchange, you never know what Scott's going to have up his bag of tricks. We cover anything from non-sports topics to sports topics, so you got to tune in to find out. And then Scott has a show on Thursday nights called Sports Wrap. Normally talks about hockey, so it will be on tomorrow night, so catch it. He actually has two young media broadcasters that are starting out that he is mentoring, so tune in to watch that. And then after that, fire up. If you enjoy the country club atmosphere, come on over to my side, the Fire Up Show, where me and Jeremy lead that program. So, and then Scott also does one-on-one interviews. So he has the Motor City Madmouth Show. Go check out some of his recent interviews on there. And then check out our video section. If you want to see Don Mattingly, Scott interviewed earlier. He is one of the coaches on Toronto right now in the World Series. Scott talks to him about his experience playing and coaching. So definitely go to our YouTube and check out that. If you like football, we cover the Miami Hurricanes. So we've been there and gotten all the post-game interviews of Coach Mario and Carson Beck and some of the other players. And then Scott's gone to the visitors side, and he's gotten some great coaches on there. He's got Frank Wright. He's got Alec Golish. He had Billy. Who else did you have, Scott?
Billy Napier.
Billy Napier. So
Jeff Rom.
Jeff Rom. Go check those out. He's done some really great interviews and asked some really good questions. So go check out our YouTubes. Don't miss it. Go check it out. And then you can always turn on the notification so whenever we go live or put a video up, you're notified. I think that covers it, Scott.
Well, you did a whale of a job, Candy.
Hey, Marvin, the book did not cover you up for your smoking. We could see it all over the place.
Well, over the next
I don't know what
couple
you're
weeks,
talking about, Jacob.
let me tell you something. Over the next couple of weeks, I'll be bringing in some new blood here to the Sports Exchange. So I'm going to keep everybody honest and real. But some of these people I bring here on this particular show come on. Oh, Nelly. Oh, my gosh. I got some unbelievable talent. Yeah, let me tell you something. I got a guy with cerebral palsy. I got a little Jillian. I don't think she'll make this show. And I have a few other ones. But stay tuned, everybody. Here's up for Trivia Media Network. So on behalf of Candy Eveling, George Eichhorn, Jacob Christner, Marvin Powell III. My name is Scott Morgan, Motor City Madmouth. Thank you for joining it on this edition of the Sports Exchange. And we'll be back next Wednesday, but I don't know who you're going to have on. So stay tuned and come by and see us, and you'll see who we have. Take care, everybody. Bye now.
Fight on.
Bye.